LA's own Blueface has spent the last year getting plenty of attention with his trademark, slightly offbeat flow that's pretty hard to miss.
Give a fuck if he like it, but he gon' respect the scripting. Yeah, I saw funny games till a nigga tripping.
But whether or not Blueface successfully rides the beat is still up for debate. So of course, we decided to look into it from the technical side of things.
Well, we expect there to be a correspondence between sort of the number of beats and the number of syllables, and that's why rap is kind of pleasing to us. We expect a particular scheme.
That's Professor Nicole Holliday. She's an assistant professor of linguistics and cognitive science at Pomona College in Southern California. She told us that Blueface's offbeat flow plays with syllable and stress time language, which determine the time in which certain words are pronounced.
There's a continuum of how much languages are what we call syllable timed versus stress timed, and English is stress timed as a language in general. And what that means is some syllables are a lot longer than others.
Creeping in the Jeep, turn this bitch to Jeepers Creepers. Treat my bitch like a pistol, no such thing as keepers.
According to Professor Holliday, Blueface's habit of elongating some words and shortening others help him fit extra jokes into his bars, and is what seems to keep him off beat.
But he will sort of elongate pieces of words and then make the other part of the word really short. And you get that, and that's how there's this kind of play where it seems like he's off the beat because the beat is consistent, but he's not.
They say I add too many words maybe into one bar, but if I didn't, you wouldn't understand the bar. For instance, if I said mop the flow just to catch him slipping, that bar wouldn't have been as hard if I didn't put the hide the west sign in there.
Mop the flow, hide the west sign just to catch him slipping. Pull up, bounce out with a briefcase, it's time to handle business.
Blueface originally started making noise back in early 2018, with tracks like Dead Lokes Parts 1 and 2 blowing up locally before he dropped his EP, Famous Crip, in June. After clips and memes of Blueface rapping emerged online, his standout hit, Tatiana, eventually peaked at number 8 on the Hot 100 and really showcased his unique raps.
Everybody say I'm off beat. I wrote that motherfucking song to the beat. I wouldn't have had a Tatiana if I didn't hear the beat first.
Blueface, baby. Yeah, I'm every woman's fantasy. Mama always told me I was gonna break hearts. I guess it's her fault, stupid. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at me.
And according to Professor Holliday, Blueface's use of repetition and call and response throughout Tatiana are part of what make it so catchy and attractive to listeners.
The thing that sticks out to me about Tatiana is the echo. He responds to himself. And sometimes he's just echoing the thing that he's saying earlier, but sometimes he's sort of emphasizing it.
Pick it up, now break that shit down. Break it down. Speed it up, then slow that shit down on the gas, slow it down.
It makes it really catchy because it's a way to actually add more words to the song, but emphasize the words that you have. So it's more likely to get stuck in your head because it's the same words, and you as the listener are like, oh, I'm going to respond to this the way that he responds to himself.
I was waiting for a hit song. I knew that's really all I needed. So once I hit song, I just had to manipulate everything else.
Blueface isn't the first rapper to use the quote-unquote offbeat flow. West Coast legends like Sugar Free, E40, and even Southern rappers like Juvenile all come to mind as artists who have stood out for a similar sound.
He's not the first rapper that's like this. Like, I know other people have made comparisons to like E40 and even Juvenile, but it's sort of nonchalant.
On more recent tracks like Bust Down, Professor Holliday told us the way he manipulates the word bust down to mean two different things by not pronouncing the T is a common phenomenon in African-American vernacular English.
You see it in almost all rap, where if you have two consonants in a row at the end of a syllable, the second one disappears, especially if it's like an S and a T. He relies on that linguistic feature to make the joke that is the title of the song.
Used to ride the bus down, now we're buzz down.
But no matter the subject of his raps, Blueface always manages to throw in a joke or two, something that Professor Holliday says actually sounds different from his signature flow.
When he makes those jokes, he tends to be a little bit sound more conventional. It's in the verses where he tends to go off with the beat. But when he's doing these kind of punchy, corny things, they tend to actually sound more like what you'd expect from a traditional rap song.
Baby, you see the space tap? I don't want a job. I get paid to show up like a fucking god.
That's just another funny line. You know, I'm just a genius.
In June, Blueface landed a spot on the XXL freshman cover, and his cypher gave us yet another taste of that signature Blueface style.
No time for nonsense. I need a deposit. I wanted to be rich instead of regular, so I left college.
And whether or not you're into that style, Professor Holliday says Blueface has managed to get attention by messing with the musical conventions of rap, which so far seems to be working.
Because Blueface has all of this sort of identity features that we expect from rappers to begin with, he doesn't actually have anything to prove, which is why he can go and do this kind of experimental stuff and still be popular.
I'm the best lyricist in the motherfucking game, bro. I don't know what the fuck y'all be listening to when y'all be listening to this other bullshit, but when it comes to wordplay, guys, come on, bro. I'm at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel blowing zips.
I'm Tia with Genius News, bringing you the meaning and the knowledge behind the music.